Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into a big one, Colleen Hoover's huge standalone novel, November 9. It's definitely one people talk about.
Oh, absolutely. And we've got a great stack of sources for this. We're talking detailed character insights, the full plot summary. Yeah, including that massive twist ending. This is a, what, 310-page book?
Yep, contemporary romance, new adult. And our sources confirm it's, well, pretty highly praised. Got a 4.35 on Goodreads, and one review gave it a straight 5 out of 5. So high expectations.
Definitely known for the emotional punch. So our mission today really is to cut through all the hype and give you the absolute core of this really intense love story.
Exactly. We want to unpack that unique structure. Everyone mentions the whole meeting just once a year thing and, track how that kind of falls apart.
Right, leading up to the big secret reveal, the one that basically changes everything you thought you knew about why these two characters are even connected.
That structure, the one day a year thing, it's key, isn't it? It forces so much emotion into such a small window of time.
It really does. Okay, so let's set the scene. It all kicks off, fittingly, on November 9th.
Which is already a heavy date for the main character, Fallon O'Neill. It's the second anniversary of this awful house fire that, well, left her physically scarred.
Yeah, she's 18, wants to be an actress, and she's having this incredibly awkward lunch with her father in L.A.
And he's just awful. Our sources say he basically tells her straight up that her acting career died in the fire because of her scars. Just brutal.
Incredibly cruel. But then, almost like destiny, this guy overhears them, Ben James Kessler. He's an aspiring novelist.
And he just jumps in.
Completely. Pretends to be Fallon's boyfriend, defends her, even insults the dad, gets him to leave. It's quite the entrance. That's their meet cute right there.
Wow. Okay. So instant connection, sparks flying, I assume?
Oh, totally. High voltage, you could say. But Fallon has this rule. She's moving to New York literally that night for Broadway.
Right. And her mom gave her advice, didn't she? Something about not getting serious until she's older.
Exactly. Not until she's 23. She wants to focus completely on her career. It's a hard boundary she set for herself.
And that boundary basically creates the entire plot, doesn't it? Because Ben's already interested.
He's hooked. So they come up with this plan. It respects her rule, but keeps that connection alive.
Yeah.
They agree. Meet once a year, November 9th, 5 years.
Yeah.
Same restaurant.
And the rules are intense, like zero contact in between.
Zero.
Yeah.
No phone calls, no texts. They block each other on social media, nothing. The sources really point out how this trope, the one-day-a-year thing, isn't just a gimmick.
It's like a narrative engine.
Exactly. It cuts out all the boring day-to-day stuff and makes each meeting supercharged, full of expectation and, seeing how much they've changed in a year.
It forces them to kind of perform their relationship for just those 24 hours.
Yeah.
And they give each other homework before she leaves. I found that interesting.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. Ben, the writer, tells Fallon she needs to kiss 4 boys and go to 1 audition a week. Basically, live life, give him material.
Huh. Okay. And what does she tell him?
She tells him to read 5 specific romance novels to prepare him for writing the book he already plans to write about them.
So right from the start, he's thinking of their relationship as a story.
Immediately. It's very meta. He sees her life, their meeting, as his novel unfolding.
Let's dig into Fallon a bit more. That date, November 9th, it's not just an anniversary. It's the day she survived a fire that burned, 30% of her body.
Yeah, immense trauma. So meeting Ben on that specific day gives it this new, hopeful layer. And he's apparently the first person who tells her she's beautiful with her scars.
He even likes the feel of them, the sources mention. That's huge for her healing. She's described as really strong, having been through so much.
And for Ben, she's instantly his muse. Her story, the fire, the resilience, the ambition, it's perfect creative fuel for him. Writing their story becomes his way of, staying connected without breaking the rules.
It sounds romantic, but maybe a little controlling, too, looking back.
Potentially, yeah. That definitely gets complicated later on. But that first day, the intensity is just off the charts. There's that quote our sources highlighted.
Oh, yeah. You left with my soul in your fists and my heart in your teeth, and I don't want either of them back.
I mean, wow. That tells you right there, this isn't casual. It's this deep, almost obsessive connection, but trapped inside this rigid structure they built.
And that structure, that experiment, it starts to fray pretty quickly, right? Because feelings don't really stick to schedules.
Not at all. The breakdown starts almost immediately. Let's track those next few years.
Okay, year 2. Where do they meet?
L.A. again. But this time Ben invites her to his family's house. And this is where we start seeing some some cracks in Ben's world.
She meets his brothers.
His older brothers, Ian and Kyle's fiancée, Jordan.
Mm.
It seems okay at first, but there's tension. Fallon actually sees Kyle hit Ben during an argument.
Whoa, okay, that's a big red flag. Foreshadowing, clearly.
Definitely. But year 3 is where things really go off the rails. Fallon's in New York, waiting at the cafe for their meeting.
And Ben breaks the no contact rule.
In the most dramatic way. He doesn't have her number, so he calls the cafe she's supposed to be at.
Why? What happened?
Devastating news. His brother, Kyle, the one who hit him, was killed in a car accident. Ben just can't face seeing her.
Oh my God, so what does Fallon do?
Her reaction is pretty telling. She drops everything, flies straight back to LA to support him through his grief.
And they get together. Properly.
They do. They become intimate. That shared vulnerability, the grief. They decide, okay, the experiment's over. Let's be together.
But it doesn't stick.
It doesn't. Reality crashes in. Fallon finds out that Jordan, Kyle's pregnant fiancé, is staying in the house. And Ben feels this huge responsibility to take care of her and the coming baby.
So Fallon leaves, even after deciding to be together.
Yeah. Seeing that whole situation, the pregnant fiancé, Ben's sense of obligation, maybe even guilt, it seems she gets overwhelmed. Or maybe it triggers her old fear about commitment before 23.
So she backs out, reinstates the November 9th rule, and basically breaks Ben's heart.
Pretty much destroys him, yeah. She sticks to the plan, but the emotional cost is huge. Which brings us to year 4.
Okay, year 4. Fallon's actually moved back to LA by this point, hasn't she? She's ready.
She is. She goes to the restaurant, excited to finally tell Ben she's home, she's ready for them, for real this time, expecting her happy ending.
And then
Ben shows up. But he's not alone. He has his 10-month-old nephew, Oliver Kyle, and Jordan's baby.
Okay.
And then he drops the bombshell. He kind of lets slip that he and Jordan, well, they become a couple.
No, oh, Fallon must have been devastated.
Visibly heartbroken, the sources say. That's it for her. She declares the whole thing, the experiment, their connection, everything, it's over. Done. For good.
Wow. That feels like such a betrayal from Ben. Why would do that? Get with his dead brother's fiancée.
It seems incredibly cruel, right? Like the worst kind of rebound. But knowing what we eventually learn, you start to suspect there's something much deeper driving him. Something tied to Kyle's death, that fight she witnessed. Some kind of trauma or guilt.
Okay, so we've hit rock bottom, basically. Now we get to year 5, the climax, and the huge twist that flips the whole story.
Right. A year goes by, total silence. Then Ben finds Fallon. He begs her, just pleads for one more chance to explain himself.
And she gives it to him.
She does. They reconcile, things get intense again, they end up becoming intimate.
And then the manuscript.
Exactly. It happens almost casually. She's looking for a shirt in his closet, and she finds it. The finished novel. The book he's been writing about them all along.
She must have been curious, right? Maybe hoping to understand the fight with Kyle or something.
Presumably. She starts reading it, and the shock is just immediate. Sickening. She reads a scene based on that fight where Kyle accuses Ben.
Of what?
Kai claims Ben was the one who started the house fire, the fire that scarred Fallon all those years ago.
Wait, Ben started the fire? The one that injured her?
That's the accusation in the manuscript. The book itself becomes this confession. And then it clicks for Fallon. That date, November 9th.
It connects to Ben's trauma, too.
Yes. She flips back to the prologue in the manuscript and learns that Ben's mother died by suicide on the exact same date, November 9th, 2 years before the fire, before he even met Fallon.
Oh my God, so the date wasn't just fate or coincidence.
It suddenly looks incredibly sinister, like maybe the whole meeting wasn't random at all. The manuscript reveals everything.
Okay, so break down the full truth. What actually happened?
The full confession, pieced together from the novel Ben wrote, is this. Ben was only 16 when he found his mother after she took her own life.
That's horrific. Why did she do it?
She had cancer, and apparently she didn't want to spend money on treatments, wanted to preserve Ben's inheritance instead.
But Ben wouldn't have known that context at 16.
Exactly. He was devastated, confused, and looking for someone to blame. And he wrongly blamed Fallon's father, Donovan O'Neill.
Why him?
Because Donovan had been dating Ben's mother around the time she died. In his grief and anger, 16-year-old Ben decided Donovan was responsible for her suffering.
So, the fire.
It was revenge. But targeted revenge. Ben set fire to Donovan O'Neill's classic car. He wanted to cause damage, hurt him financially, lash out.
But he never meant for it to spread to the house. or hurt Fallon.
Never. It was a terrible, tragic accident born out of teenage rage and grief. The fire got out of control, spread to the house, and Fallon was caught inside. Her scars are the direct, unintended consequence of his act.
So the man who intervened, who defended her against her father, who told her she was beautiful, was also, unknowingly to her, the source of her deepest trauma.
Precisely. He carried that crushing guilt into every single November 9th meeting. Their whole relationship, his intense focus on her, it was all tangled up in this secret. It was like an accidental redemption arc he was living.
That explains so much. His behavior with Jordan, the guilt. It wasn't just about Kyle, it was about everything. The weight must have been unbearable.
Absolutely immense. So Fallon reads this in the manuscript. What does she do?
Understandably, she's shattered. She refuses to even listen to Ben try to explain it in person. She leaves, won't even take the manuscript with her. The betrayal feels too huge.
She needs time. A lot of time. Like another year.
Right. But this is a romance novel after all. There has to be a path to resolution.
And the novel itself provides it. A year later, Ben leaves a copy of the finished book on her doorstep. And crucially, it's Fallon's mother who finds it and reads it first.
And the mom tells Fallon to read it.
Insists on it. And reading the whole story, not just the shocking reveal, but the context, his grief, their connection over the 5 years, his confession framed within the narrative. It allows Fallon to see it differently.
How so?
The sources say she sees it in a new, non-malicious light. She understands it wasn't intentional cruelty aimed at her, but a horrific accident stemming from his own trauma and terrible choices made when he was just a kid.
So the book, the act of writing and reading the full story, is what heals them.
It seems so. The manuscript allows Ben to finally confess fully, and maybe find some peace. And it allows Fallon to understand the complete, complex, painful truth and ultimately forgive.
So does she meet him again?
She does.
Right.
On the final November 9th, the one that would have marked the end of their original 5-year plan, she goes to the restaurant.
Yeah.
They pledge their love. They finally confirm that yes, despite everything, this is a love story. Born from tragedy and secrets, but ultimately redeemed by honesty. Brutal honesty, delivered through fiction.
Wow, what a journey. One of the reviews we saw said the book made them laugh, I cried, I gasped, sometimes all in one chapter. You can totally see why.
Definitely. That intensity comes from that structure, the one-day-a-year meetings amplifying the tension, and then the reveal hitting so hard because it recontextualizes everything.
It really is fascinating. Ben's creative drive, his need to write this novel, was tangled up with his guilt. The book became the only way he could possibly tell her the truth.
Yeah, like the reality was too complex, too painful for just a conversation. It needed the whole narrative arc. He was living these two lives, the devoted boyfriend and, secretly, the person responsible for her scars. The novel merged them.
So it makes you think, doesn't it? We've talked about the plot, the characters, but maybe the deeper takeaway is about storytelling itself.
How so?
Well, consider this. What does it say about the power of fiction? Or just creative storytelling in general? That maybe sometimes it's the only way to deliver incredibly painful truths. The only way to confess things that seem unsayable.
Like fiction becomes the necessary container for unbearable reality, allowing for confession, understanding, and maybe, just maybe, healing, both for the teller and the listener or reader.
Exactly. Can a story, a narrative frame, make the hardest truths digestible in a way plain facts can't? Something for you to think about.
A really provocative thought. The relationship between the stories we tell and the realities we live.
Definitely food for thought. We'll leave you with that until the next deep dive.